all. Welcome to the ServiceNow Star. On today's episode, we're going to discuss about a couple of things. Primarily today, we're going to discuss about. I want to talk about one of the questions that I get it directly to the ServiceNow Star. So the question I have is about domain separation, especially these days. We get a lot of different clients. You will see different clients from, could be from the government, or it could be from other organizations. They want a domain separation. Let's say if you want to create a shared service structure where you're sharing some of your capability, but you are creating some kind of structure. Okay, one client doesn't need to see the other client. Let's say you may have a number of agencies and you want to have that structure between. Okay, so with that case, you can use a domain separation. So basically, when you apply a security in ServiceNow, like ServiceNow has more than 3,000, okay, 3.2 thousand ServiceNow tables. You'll have that many tables, that many data structures we have in ServiceNow. So basically, at the top, may not be quite visible, but I'll change another crayon. So at the top, you have this big table structure. Let's take it as the MSB. All right. With that, let's say you have at the top, you have bigger table here. This has a lot of the most important. Let's see, task table. Task table. Within that task table, in my another organization might use it here. So that's the main, which is you have the global scope, right? ServiceNow really encourages all of us to use scoped application, right? Working in the scope, not working on the global application. But in a time where you have multiple organizations in your company and they want to have their own separate structure, their own separate domain, within in a situation like that, within one single instance, you can create a hierarchy, okay, a domain hierarchy. We call it the data domain separation. So you can create a domain separation, and you can achieve through that. So here, let's think about that. So this is the global at the top, and you create this. Bigger. So you have at the top, let's say you have at the top, you have the global scope, given global scope. With that, you have another organization here. Let's say organization 1. And you have another organization 2. Within this organization, let's think about, I have 3 departments, 1, 2, and 3. Each of them, look, so what you're creating here is parent-child relationship. What you're creating is a parent-child relationship. What does that mean? When you talk about parent-child relationship, you have a parent and you have a child. The parent, there are the child, there are some features they can take from the parent, right? And the parent have some features that doesn't exist in the child. So there are some commonalities. Let's talk about this. Here I give kind of structure here for this organization, kind of domain separation, and with this domain separation over here, you get a lot of things from the parents, which is the main global app right there. And here in this one, which is organization 1, can share some of its characters to this child, and over here too, and over here too. But think about that. When you have child 1 here and child 2 and child 3, this child, they can have common features, but this cannot see this one, and child 2 cannot see child 3, or cannot access, when I call it in ServiceNow term. And child 3 cannot access child 2, child 2 cannot access child 1. So you're creating a domain. See? Domain separation. So you're separating those domain right there. So with that, within the service now we have a column called sys underscore domain. So if you want to know which table has a domain separation, which table has a domain separation, so you just need to go to system definition, go to the system definition just right now. You can go ahead in the application navigator, write system definition. And domain separation is just like I said earlier, it just happened like you have a top domain and you'll have a domain 1, domain 2, and you can have multiple domains as you might have. So what happened here is at the top domain, for example, here at the top domain, you will have the main things. That's things like something that related with the data. Higher level data will be stayed at the top, which is the domain area. So this is the top, and the root domain in the hierarchy, and only the process record associated with the top, on the top part. And this record specify a universal instance-wide process in platform element. So the only thing you can keep on the top hierarchy of the domain is anything that's related with instance-wide process or platform-wide process. So those elements of data will be stored at the top. So that's what the domain hierarchy looks like. When it comes to the second hierarchy, for example, here you have a domain 1, which is in a given domain 1. In this one, in the domain 1, here you can have both in domain 1 and domain 2, domain can have a separate processes, an override process defined for the top. Let's say on the top one, you have a general structure, a general structure for both domain 1, domain 2, etc. If you want to override any of those things, you can override it here in your domain 1. So that's what you contain in domain 1. Domains used in this way are associated to process records, only to a data records. For example, you might choose to set up a domain to a difference between an external and internal processes. Let's say you have an internal process and external process in your service catalog. Within that, you can separate that as well within one domain instance. Let's go ahead and see here what you have here on customer 1 and customer 2. Like I said, in your customer 1, for example, you can have your customer 1 domain, you can associate it to a given data and process as well. It will have its own process setting that are unique to that customer. And they can also have a customer specific UI settings. Whatever UI setting you associated to customer 1, you can keep it in customer 1. When it goes to the customer 2, here the customer 2 might have specific UI setting that are not in customer 1. Things that are not in customer 1 can be found in customer 2. Or you might have things that you have it in customer 2 and you may not have it in customer 1, vice versa. So thus you create that kind of barrier in between here. They might share some of the things, but you will create a barrier over here. And let's go ahead and see the domain 2. Like I said on the domain 1, the domain 2 can be used to separate processes. It can override process it defined for a given that's given at the top domain. So this way you are associating process records only, okay, not data record. It's not about data record, so mainly about the process record. Good example will be you might choose to set up a domain to a difference between an external and internal processes. Like I said, you may have an internal employee and external employee, both of them access a service catalog where they can order. Let's say can be a laptop. You have internal employee and you have a contract employee, and you want to give those laptop for those employee. Those are under your. So for them, you can set different kind of. They can land in the same instance, but they can have their own structure in there, and they can choose from those catalogs. And here the default, this is the ServiceNow recommends that you have a default domain set for your instance as a file against the accidental global data creation. So this is what ServiceNow recommend to have the default there. So the default domain is like holding area. Okay, it's like holding area for a record until it is assigned to a domain by an admin or assigned automatically based on a business rule. All new instances come with a default domain in place. The logic is built into the instance using the business rule for the task, user, and company table. Without this domain, if the data is improperly imported or the logic is introduced that failed to set the domain on a new record, the record would be globally available to all users. There can be only one default domain, while the domain can exist anywhere in the hierarchy. It is recommended to place it where only the instance owner's resource have access. What I do recommend is when you can keep the default anywhere in the instance in the domain hierarchy instance, but how I do recommend this one is to keep it at the top, but you can keep it anywhere to make sure that only those people who are allowed to take care, who the owner of the instance need to have access for the default. This is just what ServiceNow recommend, to have this default domain set to your instance in case you'll have a fail-safe against accidental global data creation. Great, that's a sneak peek of what a hierarchy, domain hierarchy looks like in ServiceNow. Yes, think about a managed service provider, MSP, managed service provider that can lease part of the ServiceNow instance to a different organization. Think about that. And then you might also have a separated area that will have a security access point. Each of them have a security access point. So the domain separation in general help you have multiple clients. They can reside in a single instance, same like leasing office in the same building. Think about this is a big building here. Within this building, I have the owner over here that has a lobby, has a restroom and everything, and sharing an office or leasing an office. All of them, they can access the restroom, the lobby, those common area or the cafeteria, but they're not gonna access this one, domain one, they're not gonna access the office of domain 2. Domain 2 will not gonna access the meeting room of domain 1. You see, you're creating that kind of barrier among those instances. So the instance can have some global properties like data, processes that are shared across the domain. Each domain in the ServiceNow instance can have a unique functions in process. Like I said, for example, this domain won't have its own internal customer and external customer. So they can have a different functionality or setting for this one than the other one. So that's what we are saying here. Each domain in the instance can have a different user interface as well. The user interface you said it here might be different from the domain 2 instance. So that's how you can create the hierarchy in ServiceNow. You create a hierarchy in ServiceNow, and I'm really happy to share this with you guys. So if you have any question, you can send it to the ServiceNow star contact at ServiceNow star contact at ServiceNowStar.com. That's my name, my email, and my name is Mohammed Rashid Kamal from the Global Mindset University. Until we see each other, have a great day, guys. Bye. for watching. This is Mohammed Rashid Kamal from the Global Mindset University and ServiceNow Star. Thank you for watching again. Don't forget to comment or send us your any question you have directly at contact@servicenowstar.com. And I'm really happy to share this with you guys. And until we see each other with another episode, I wish you a great time. Thank you. Have a great day. Make sure you subscribe and click the bell icon so that you can get, when we upload a new video, you will have those directly sent to you. Alright guys, thank you. Have a great day.